In this video, I want to kind of dive back into the old parts of Minecraft. This is going to be more of a sit around the campfire and talk kind of video. I want to look at all the things that kind of made it wonderful when you were young, things that you might see and go, wow, like that brings me back. Stuff you might have forgotten. I'm sure some stuff I show some people might have forgotten and some people remember very vividly, and then for other things vice versa. So if you've seen it and they evoke different memories for you, let me know. And if I'm not mentioning something in this video, also talk about it in the comments. I want to see what you guys have come up with. I played a lot of Minecraft when I was a kid. I was always envious of the Java edition people, but I only ever had the console editions. As time goes on, I think that playing Minecraft as a kid and then playing it now as a full-grown adult isn't the same. Though there are times when the game brings me flashbacks of playing it a long time ago. The point of Minecraft seems to be progress, and while that's true, I think we tend to play it in an indirect way to get in touch with our younger selves a little bit. We all have one of those. It sometimes makes us feel as if we were children again. Curious, free, underdeveloped, and overexcited. As people, we like to look back at the good old days and ask ourselves what made those days so damn good. If you thought of tutorial worlds, you would be right. Those are some of the best memories I've ever made in Minecraft. I'm going to touch on that later. Memories are special in that they can invoke a sense of nostalgia, which is a warm, bubbly feeling when you remember your past. And nostalgia can come through even when you were having a really bad time. If you had a really dark childhood, if you had just not so great a time in this or in that, if you were just an island in an ocean of trouble, that island is nostalgia. It peeks through the clouds long after they've dissipated. And that's the beauty of it. And Minecraft evokes a lot of nostalgia for people, mostly because it's been around for so long. A lot of us played it when we were children. I'm 22 now. But Minecraft is a game that an unbelievable amount of folks have played. And it's a game many people relate to having sweet memories in. You don't have to be a kid to have enjoyed Minecraft in the past. You don't have to be a kid to feel the same feelings that you felt about the game that I do. Nostalgia is universal, which I think is really neat. Like I said, this video is to revisit old parts of Minecraft, but it's more to bubble that nostalgia to the surface for a lot of us. Just to have a warm, comfy video you sit in on and watch and just remember things. The universal love of Minecraft and the memories that it granted to people who played it in the past is often very hand in hand with the music in the game and the sounds. And the universal love of the original music and sounds might be because of how prominent they were to us at the time. The music artist C418 has produced some of the softest, sweetest, and most lovable sounds across any generation that got a chance to play a little bit of video games. And even if you don't know who C418 is, the song playing now is widely recognizable and loved. These sounds bring up such a rich, deep, warm happiness from the memories of when, for me, I was so young. I played the demo on my Xbox 360 because my mom couldn't afford the game. I remember going to old friends' houses when I was 10 or 11 and playing the tutorial worlds. There were a lot of us. Some of us were just 5 or 6, the rest were 12 and 13. Our moms would all spend time together. And so it was lucky that we were all friends because we would sit in the living room and play Minecraft on the Xbox 360 for hours. Split screen on an undersized TV, the music's going, we're all trying to make our own little bases and build our things, not realizing that those worlds will disappear when we leave, that we'll probably never end up playing them again. But as a kid, you don't care. As an adult, when I play Minecraft, I want those worlds. I want to hold on to them, even if I never play them again. I just want to know where I came from. So it was very rich and sweet for a child to just not care, to just play because it's fun. Minecraft was very much about playing because it was fun. And Minecraft is a very big game. There's always something exciting happening that gets a lot of us coming back around to play it, sometime or another. I think the developers do a good job of keeping our adventures as new and exciting as they used to be. Although if you're on Twitter, you'd see a lot of people disagree. Just ignore that. Loading into Minecraft, everything is so much bigger than before. You might be a redstone genius, or maybe just like brewing potions or building, whatever. There's always something new to learn about and to utilize in the game. Playing Minecraft it's new and it's old. The spirit is surely there, even though sometimes you get so lost in all of the things to do that you forget you used to play this game. And when the music kicks in, suddenly it's not really new Minecraft anymore. Sometimes I have to put down the controller. Suddenly, I'm a kid in a wooden stone house, not too far from how I used to make them, if you think about it. It's just a box with windows and a door, essentially, with rooms for anything the heart desires. We cook, we sleep, some of us keep our nether portals or even grow our gardens inside. But whatever the case, we end up doing the same things we used to do, just in a different way. Unless you're one of those folks that make those really giant builds in hardcore survival, I'm never going to get that good. Some days, there's a brief feeling of almost wanting to walk through the handful of original biomes. I'm very excited when a new biome is added, just like when I was as a kid. But looking back, I think I can make do with the basics. I think that's just because I miss old Minecraft so much. The new nether is very cool. Sometimes I feel like I would rather just walk around the old nether. It's only a brief flash of a feeling, but I think that Minecraft does a good job of keeping the spirit of the old game. The new nether is exciting. It has trees, monsters, plenty of lava, all those new types of grasses and wooden blocks, and more neat things you can do. The nether is still as daunting to me now, if not more, than it was 10 or more years ago. Do you remember Pocket Edition? You couldn't get the nether in Pocket Edition. You had to use, what was that one block called? You built something, and you hit it, and it just spawned a little bit of nether with, like, waves of enemies. I remember that. That seemed like it was a more effort to put into the game than putting the actual nether, but realistically, as an adult, I see that it was just technologically a lot less. And those old iPhones and iPods were not meant to be playing Minecraft, no way. The kids on the bus used to let me play the game on their iPods. Must have started a myriad of worlds on their phones I never revisited. I remember when the Pocket Edition was picking up pace, and it was actually getting updates mostly alongside Console Edition. Not quite exactly, but, you'd get, like, when horses were added, I think horses were also put into Pocket Edition. If not at the time, it was just a short time later, and then they caught up on what they were missing, too. And I kind of missed that. It was cool to just open someone's phone and walk through, like, oh, suddenly there's birch forests. Well, they weren't a thing. Knocked over trees. They weren't a thing. And it was just exciting to play around. It felt very foreign to me at the time. I felt like Minecraft on the phone was experimenting a bit. But I didn't hate it. The game in my memory was so sweet, simple, and mysterious. There was a lot to pique my interest, even though you couldn't eat and you only had a handful of blocks to play with. Looking at where we are now with our technology and our modern Minecraft, I'm glad the old phone game got a heck of an upgrade. It deserved it. Do you remember the old skin packs, dude? They were what was up. I remember wanting just so badly to get a skin pack for my birthday or for Christmas. I wanted the one specifically with the skeleton skin so that I could fool my friends and make them think I was a skeleton, and then I actually got it for my birthday, and I realized that it's just much more blocky, and it was more for the aesthetic. I used the zombie pigman skin for many, many, many years. That was my go-to. But I remember I used to be a Doctor Who fan just as a kid. I haven't watched the series since I was probably 13, but I really liked it, and I wanted the Doctor Who skin pack. And I remember just the stupid, like, Dalek skins. They were experimenting with skin models at the time, you could definitely tell. When the Star Wars skins came out, I remember the little Yoda one. That was so funny to watch hop around. I miss old skins. I loved the skins in the games, and they still have them if you play any form of Bedrock Edition. They actually still have those skins. I think some of them are missing. I can't honestly tell, but I think some of the old skin packs are missing. If you guys know of any of that, just someone let me know. Let's talk about that. Do you remember Minecraft Story Mode? Oh man, I'm getting too off topic of Minecraft and going into Minecraft spin-off stuff, but I do want to touch on Story Mode. It was a lot of fun. For me, that was one of my first games that you could play where like your choices actually mattered. It was on par with Life is Strange. I think they both came out around the same time. I loved Story Mode. And I actually didn't play through all of Story Mode. My brother did. I actually watched him. My brother is 4 years younger than me. And I watched him play it, which was big for me as a big brother because I always wanted to be the one playing. But sometimes I would just sit down and let him do his thing, and I'd watch him play, and it was very entertaining. Very entertaining. I remember, this is a spoiler, I mean the game's been out for so long, so don't be worried if I spoil it for you. But there's a pig in the game, and the pig dies at the end, and I think he actually turns into a raw pork chop, and I remember watching that, and it made my brother cry so hard, and I was actually a little emotional watching it, but it was just so funny. The comedy of being so emotionally attached to this character and it dies near the end, but just being turned into a fucking pork chop. There was something beautiful about that. I don't know who did that. I love it though. And right before I get back into the actual Minecraft game and the old stuff there, I want to briefly touch on Minecraft Earth. I loved Minecraft Earth, and it made my phone heat up so fast. It was like no technology was ready for Minecraft Earth. It was this Pokemon Go style Minecraft game, if none of you have played it, and you would walk around and collect like randomly spawned blocks and stuff, you know, like little pillars and dirt hills and trees, and you would get the materials from them. And the idea was that you would point your phone at your desk, and that would be the landscape from which you built. And you could build like little models, right? Little small things with the inventory of blocks that you had. But the problem was you had to actually touch on the screen where you're going to put them, like in the game. And it was so difficult, but it was really honestly rewarding. I had a handful of things that I actually saved just because I used to spend time in the high school library building little Minecraft things for Minecraft Earth. And that game was crazy. They wanted to do so much, but it was not technologically advanced enough to pull it off. Or at least our phones weren't. Because like I said, I had an iPhone, and my iPhone was heating up. It was cooking. You had that game open for 5 minutes, and it didn't know what to do. But it was a very fun memory. And why I bring that up, too, is because I had this Minecraft Earth skin. I actually used that a lot when I had this realm when I was 17. I played with my brother and my partner, and my best friend got in there. A lot of other people got into a realm, and that was all the fuss. Everyone loved it. I still actually have that. I'm staring at it in my saved worlds right now. I just downloaded it to my computer, uploaded it to the cloud. I don't ever want to lose it. But we spent months there, and I had this stupid little skin, so that's just why I wanted to talk about it. I want to touch on tutorial worlds for a second, and I'm going to talk about them a lot in this video because I have a lot of love for tutorial worlds. But the old tutorial worlds, like I said earlier, I used to play them on my friends' Xboxes, and I actually didn't have Minecraft, so we would get the demo and it gave you like 15 minutes to play in the tutorial world, and that was really fun. When I actually got Minecraft on the Xbox One, when the Xbox One first came out, there weren't a ton of games on it, but then Minecraft came out for it, and my dad actually got it for us. My brother and I were really into Legos, but my dad, God bless his soul, I think the Legos were so expensive, and they were just also a pain in the ass to clean up or to get your literal adolescent children to clean up and keep cleaned up. So we'd always have Lego messes on carpet, hardwood, you name it. And so he bought us Minecraft, and that was honestly the end of our Lego era. My mom didn't like Minecraft. I don't know why, but my dad loved it because it kept us from making a mess, really. And so when we got Minecraft on the Xbox One, we immediately made our own world, and I was so obsessed. I still am obsessed with The Legend of Zelda, but I was, it was one of the only things in my life at that point. And I built what I thought was a true scale build of Hyrule Castle. It was just a big box with towers and an oversized janky throne inside, but I thought it was cool in my head, and that's kind of when I realized that the ideal versus reality of Minecraft exists. My brother was so obsessed with Diablo 3 at the same time that he built what he thought was Bastion's Keep next to my Hyrule Castle, the very first creative world that we'd played for like 5 hours straight and then deleted it. And then we went right to the tutorial worlds, and they were exciting. They were special. They were just a beautiful way to play and experience the game, those tutorial worlds. Whether you've never played it before or if you're starting your 15th new tutorial world with some friends. They were a great way for you to get together with people and that you could play Minecraft and explore the neat new worlds. Getting a new tutorial world was like my birthday personally came early. I'd barely put my backpack down coming home from school before I kicked on the Xbox and updated the game. The new worlds were just full of mystery, creativity, new things to see, and more. If you had to guess in your head what my favorite tutorial world was, what would you think it is? Yeah, you probably got it. It's a shame tutorial worlds were done away with. Maybe if I try hard enough, I can get Mojang to bring them back. I'm just kidding. I don't think they want to make those anymore. But they were all the rage. We never really understood as kids. We, as in most kids who played Minecraft, never got that when you get a new tutorial world, you lose all chances to play a clean slate of an old one. So unless you actually saved one of those many worlds that I'm sure you made, I'm sure your world list was full, unless you saved them, you kind of lost your chance for a long time, especially if you played on console. It was notoriously difficult to get tutorial worlds back on your console, unless you unupdated your console or your game. And that just wasn't happening with, especially us kids. My very limited knowledge of the consoles and just wanting to actually keep it up to date, it wasn't happening. And so my brother and I, we had a tutorial world that we settled in. It is my favorite tutorial world. You'll see it here. The massive sandstone hotels and buildings were so fucking cool. You could have 4 of you playing split screen on a small TV in one world, and everyone was having the best time turning that place into a home, whether it was creative or survival. My brother and I lived in the same house, and we decorated it in ways that I'm sure a couple of little kids could only ever decorate. I can almost picture it now. We used to play very early in the morning. When we used to share the same room, one of us would just happen to wake the other up at anywhere between 12 and 3 in the morning. Like, we were so excited to play that our brains would wake us up. And we would sneak down the stairs, try not to make noise to wake my parents. And we would play this world together with the TV volume all the way down, so that the only noise was our controllers vibrating and clacking in the dark living room. Did you know that controllers make a sound when they vibrate? I'm sure you do. In a controller, by the grips, there's something that spins a small weight around a pole, and so the unevenness of the weight would make it vibrate. And you're sitting in the living room at 2:36 in the morning before school. The TV is the only light casting shadows in the otherwise unlit living room. We've got the sounds of the vibration, which while you're playing during the day, while people are awake, the house is moving, it doesn't sound that big of a deal. You turn your TV volume up at all, and suddenly you're not really paying attention to the vibration sound, just the feeling. But in just pure silence, you hear the clacking of our controller. And you hear the vibration going off. And weirdly enough, that was enough sound that I was actually worried my parents could somehow hear it through the floor. Their room was above our living room. Controller vibration is just so nostalgic to me because of this. I love the sound of it. The first controller to ever have rumble controls started in '97 with the introduction of the rumble pack for the Nintendo 64. That was before my time. I'm a 2001 baby. They plugged into the controller and it had about 60 hours worth of constant vibration, which is just unbelievable. And then somehow the DS had a rumble pack, but you had to have the DS Lite, I think it was, that had the Game Boy slot because that's where you'd put it. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. So one night, my brother was actually at a sleepover on a summer evening. We played this world quite a bit. The windows were open to let in the fresh, warm air. I put a cake in our house. Now, mind you, I didn't know how to craft a cake. I didn't know how to get buckets of milk, which is ironic as a kid, but I didn't know. And I really wanted to impress my little brother with a cake. So my idea was I'd go into creative mode and place a cake in our house. And somehow, instead of just lying that I knew how to build a cake, I instead put a sign that said, "The cake is a lie" from Minecraft. I was trying to fool him into thinking that the devs actually were just, out of the kindness of their heart, uploaded our world and put a cake in there and left it for us. It wasn't a very clever lie, but his eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. It felt so special. He must have realized how much of a fool I was later on. Roaming through this tutorial world on my computer as a 22-year-old just made me feel really sad. I walked into the same house that we used to live in, and it was empty. Where did our things go? It's like we were never here. But walking through it reminded me of all the things we did to this place. I could see it so vividly, decorated in the same way that we would have so young. We made more windows, we used item frames for the most stupid things, and put paintings everywhere. Little redstone lamps with bare torches hanging out, just making it our own little home. Now, as an adult, when it was my turn to walk out of the house for probably the very last time in my entire life, I almost couldn't do it. It's just when I have the chance to revisit old, forgotten memories of mine, ones so vivid, I don't really know what to do with myself. The room is here in my mind and, as close as I can picture it. But when I took one last look before I left, I just see an empty, cold, bare room, long forgotten and swept away by time. Anyways, I'm getting sentimental. Remember the mashup worlds? Oh man, those were the shit. I was so excited to get those new mashup worlds, man. The Skyrim mashup, that was right when I got into Skyrim as a kid. I borrowed the game from the library for the PS3 because it didn't have one for the Xbox One, and I spent many a day playing on there. And so getting the Skyrim mashup pack was awesome. It was a texture pack, the skin pack, the pre-built world. It was just so big, and it kind of drops you in. The beautiful thing about those texture mashup packs is, of course, you're playing the world first. You're not just loading a random world with that texture pack first. Yeah, usually you're not anyways. And you get thrown in there, and now you have to kind of relearn the blocks. Like, what blocks are these? What's that? Like, everything's textured so differently. And some things are textured specifically to be decorative that you kind of don't really know what blocks are what. But the mashup worlds were awesome. Just the sheer scale of, like, how did they fit Whiterun into Minecraft? I have so many vivid memories, even going back in as an adult just to record this. So many more memories after I used to play these worlds, and I just haven't, where I was like, man, I just missed this. I actually bought the mashup pack on Bedrock Edition for this. My dad owned the mashup pack from when we were kids. That's how we played through it. And it was just so well done. Mashup packs like that were a real rarity. It was, I'd say, on par with getting a new tutorial world. Some of those tutorial worlds, speaking of which, were the shit too. Looking at the older ones, right now I'll show one from before what I was talking about. So one of the first, and some of them, it's cool to see between tutorial worlds how much more they want to show off, because that's really what tutorial worlds are for. It's to show off not only the game's mechanics and how to play, but show off just how creative you can be with them. And I'm sure the devs had a blast of a time just building these things, adding little secrets. The music discs in the later versions of worlds were awesome to go find. Plenty of little secrets to try to figure out. The Minecraft sign floating above the world. Oh man. And always thinking like there's something up there, right? But there was never anything up in those signs. But I would always check. I would always go up there and check. And you get into one of my favorite tutorial worlds. It's not the sandstone one. That is my actual favorite. But the one with the castle where they added the horses. That one, I mean, I walked through it for a while just recording it. It is massive. It's confusing. And I like that about it. It doesn't exist for just practical use. It exists to let you get lost in it. I mean, you can walk through that thing for 5-6 minutes before you find a new room that you've just been walking past. There was so much, and the sheer design, it's beautiful. And in those later tutorial worlds before they really closed down the game, they were just so much bigger and much more ambitious. For me, kind of to the point where it was really exciting and cool, but almost a little overwhelming. Maybe its charm got lost in the translation for me, but I'm sure I might just be the part of the minority who feels that way. I didn't dislike them, don't get me wrong, I really liked them. Like the tutorial world when they had the end update in the Elytra, that was exciting, man. I loved that. Speaking of Elytra, that just triggered a memory for me. Most of this is off script, I promise, that's why the video is so goddamn long. But if you're watching this far, thank you. The Minecraft Hunger Games and the Elytra games, you remember that? That was something. That was huge. To be able to randomly matchmake with people and play Minecraft Hunger Games was awesome. The little hub world, I used to try to spend as much time as I could unraveling an Easter egg. Like, I was convinced you could get a dragon head somehow, or you can get to the point where there is a dragon head, like if you just did enough Easter eggs before the game started. And I never just loaded into the world by myself, but it was so fun that like several people at a time would be trying to figure these out or to just get the Easter egg rolling. And it was a lot of fun, and the Elytra worlds were exciting too. That was ambitious. Those were huge. That was the most impressive thing for me, was the big Hunger Games maps and the Elytra worlds, because the Elytra worlds were, you're swinging and flying through this entire like things of tunnels and open air, and everything is just pristinely decorated. It was so well done. Bravo to Mojang for those, because I miss them. I really do. I miss console edition as a whole. It was just such a good, well-rounded thing. You could play Minecraft on the 3DS. Do you folks remember that? I played Minecraft on the 3DS. I played it on my Wii U. Oh man, just think about the Wii U. The Wii U, to me, was so fucking special, because that came at a time where I got the gamepad and I could play that as a standalone thing, so my brother could actually play the TV. So it used to be a constant struggle between who gets the TV, and then all of a sudden I'm playing the Wii U all the time. So I played Minecraft. Survival Craft, if you folks remember that, it was a very obscure like Minecraft spin-off where so much was happening. I'm not even going to talk about that, but for me, old Minecraft and just seeing the Wii U like homepage goes hand in hand. I mean, Miiverse, everything, it just hand in hand. I was a Wii U baby, I loved it. Minecraft was just so special. And I know I'm mostly touching on just my memories in this video, but it was very special to me. I'm sure it was very special to a lot of you. And I guess the specialness is why we wish we kept on to our own worlds. So maybe we could revisit them all those years later, so we could have something to hold on to. We could say hello to our dogs, maybe throw them a bone, and we could visit all of our cows, our sheep, and horses if you had them. We could see what our latest redstone venture was at the time, or whatever we were building, and we could just have one last chance to say goodbye forever. And I guess that's what tends to be forgotten by most of us, is that we might not be able to hold on to real things forever, but the memory in our mind is the more important part. I do like having old worlds. Even just seeing the name of the world reminds me of all my memories in it. I think a lot of people can sympathize with wishing we had something of ours that is long gone. It's in our nature to want those things so that there's no chance we're ever going to forget what happened with them. With however long Minecraft has been around now, it's just a great reminder that there's a time where you're going to log out of your world for the very last time. Even when you feel that hankering to play that world that you're actively logging out of, just like you did as a kid, there's just going to be a last time you log out of it, and most times you won't even know. That realm I mentioned earlier that I had in late high school, I didn't ever know we were going to stop playing it, but just so much happened with it. It got so cluttered, and we eventually just all stopped. And that's kind of sad. There's going to be a last time you see your friends, a last time that you talk to your mom or your dad, a last time you play that game. It's sad to think about, but I think that knowing that last moment will come, it just makes the dull moments much more enjoyable to us. You know, waiting for your mom or dad while they're at an appointment, or sitting on the phone with one of your friends even though you'd rather be doing something else. Just putting it into perspective like that, knowing that someday there'll be a last time, it just makes you glad that you waited. It makes you feel like you're doing something nice, even if you don't want to be doing it. We live in this go, go, go world where it's just so hard to slow down. And in games like Minecraft, you're not going out to chop trees because that's fun. You're not digging a huge hole in the side of a mountain because that's fun. You're doing it to achieve an end goal. And while that's still true, even with the perspective I mentioned in mind, it's just nice to know that, you know, you're alive and you're playing the game. You could be doing something else, but you're sitting here minding these trees because you want to do the other thing. It makes those dull moments a little more interesting, or at least you tend to appreciate something. And suddenly, you're doing the same thing in the game that you did as a kid when you would load into those worlds with your friends or on your friends' phones that you'd never revisit. You didn't think about, am I going to keep this? Or how do I beat the clock and do as much as I can in as little time? Suddenly, you're just having fun again. You're playing just for the sake of playing. And you realize that if there is ever a last time you log out of the world, if everything is left to collect dust, waiting for you to return, then at least you know you properly enjoyed it. And who knows, maybe you'll meet all those old friends, those old cats and birds, those old buildings of yours someday. Maybe you'll get to see them one last time. Thanks for watching.